All right, welcome back into the workshop. We have got us a generator. Actually, we've got several of them dropped off today. A bunch of stuff. We're going to start out with this one here because it's the easiest one. These generators get to be a little bit of a pain in the rear end, we might say. This is a Ryobi. I don't know if it's got a model number. 3600 watt, 4500 starting watt. I don't know really anything about it other than I guess it don't work. Let's see. He says starts, runs, loads, backfires, and dies. That sounds interesting. Could be a couple of things here. We're going to first of all have to figure out if it'll actually start and run. If it does that, maybe just valves are out of adjustment or something. It does have some overhead valves. Might have to test those out a little bit, but let's see what we get into. Let's find out if it's getting some gas, see if it will fire up, and then we'll go from there. So I think first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and see if it's getting gas and what kind of gas we got here. Let's pop the little plug off the bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not. We'll just take that little plug off the bottom, see if we're getting some gas out of there. Looks like this one has a shut-off valve built into the choke, so that's how that's going to work. Start, run. So that must be cold start. Okay. We'll see if we get some gas down to the carburetor, and then we'll go from there. So let me hook up a wrench and get something to catch gas with. Okay, what I need for this one is going to be a 10mm wrench. We'll pop this off real quick. I think. And let's see if we can. Gas is off, but there should be a little bit in the carburetor. Let's turn the gas on. Doesn't look like a whole lot of gas. That's pretty darn slow, actually. If it's that slow, that could almost be the problem right there. It's just not getting enough gas. Now, I think we'll check to make sure there is enough gas in the tank. That may be another indication. Let me get a flashlight and shove it down in there and see. Well, there's about an inch of gas in there. I almost wonder if we're getting any gas enough to do it. So that might be the problem. Let's see if we can take maybe. If we take the air filter off, that's going to kind of take the carburetor off with it. I want to get back in here. There's a fuel filter right there. It'd be nice to get to that, make sure it's not plugged. I don't know if we can get to the other side of that or not without taking this off. So looks like we need to pull the filter off. And we'll pop that bolt off right there and that one there. And see if we can get up into there to get to that fuel line. See if we can get some more gas coming out of there. Let me get a little wrench on that one. Okay, I got 10mm. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this little plug back in here for now. It's tighten it back up so I don't forget to do it. Okay, and we'll go ahead and take these bolts out. This is also a 10mm. That's that one. I'm gonna get me a it's always good to keep a little one of our little magnetic trays here just to keep our parts in. Got that one, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this or not. A little dark in here, but it'll probably be close enough you'll be able to tell what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and that's off. Let's see if this thing will actually just pop off of here, or if we've got something else holding it over. We do have one other thing holding it on. Let me see here if we can show that. It's down here. There's a little bracket that's holding it on right here. It looks like a 10mm also. Let's see if it is. No, it's not. It's smaller than that. So let me get something a little smaller. Okay, this is an 8mm. It'd be much too easy to keep everything the same size, I'm sure. As with anything mechanical, you gotta have a bunch of different wrenches to work on everything. Alright, now let's see if we can pull that loose enough without losing. It's got a gasket on there. It's not in too good a shape. We may have to find a way to replace that. If you saw that, that's kind of pulled off. I'll try to keep you all in the loop here on this thing, see what we can come up with. Let's see if I can get into the fuel line here. Turn that back off. Okay, let's see here. Let's move this around a little bit, see if we can get you better light on it. There we go. We're going to see if we can get some fuel out of here. I think what we want to do is get the pliers first. And we're going to get our little cup over here and see if we can get this off of here. And there is a fuel filter just upstream of this, and it might just be that it's dirty. So let's move that clamp out of the way and see if we can peel that thing back off of there. Without tearing our hose up too bad. I have to fight with this one a little bit. She acts like she's not been replaced or moved in a while. And it might end up ripping the hose. Anyways, it looks like. Oh, man. Ain't no problem there. Stick that back on there. Okay. Well, that's good. So it's coming off that side just fine. Let's see if we can turn it around, and maybe it's just the carburetor's not allowing it to get in there enough. I don't think we're going to be able to get to that, though, without taking the whole carburetor off. So we may end up having to do a little carburetor work. So let's see what we got to do to get all this out of the way and be able to get the carburetor out of here. Let's make sure that's off. Let's go ahead and pull this other line that's coming into the back side of the carburetor. No way you're going to be able to pick up on this either. Sometimes these old gas lines, they ain't been moved in a while. They're tough. There's a clamp on there. I'm going to have to get off. Yeah, let me see if I can show you what I've got going on here. Swing the camera around here a little bit, and maybe we can get you in here a little bit. But what I was hoping to be a quick little remove is not being a quick little remove. Trying to get that off of there. And this thing is there we go. Now maybe the fuel line will come off of there. There we go. All right, now we have plenty of fuel going to this part. We'll go ahead and turn our fuel valve back on and see what we get out of it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. I hope so. If I can get a hold of this lever here. There we go. We got plenty of flow there. I think you can see that. It looks like it's just carburetor is going to be not giving us enough. So I think we're going to end up pulling the carburetor, see if we can clean that up a little bit. So just not quite doing what it needs to do. So what do we have to do to pull the carburetor? I'll spin this back around for you, and I think we should be good. We'll go ahead and see if there's just the one linkage and a spring. So let's see if we can do something with that. Take this little spring goes in the back side of it. Let's see if I can get in here to it. All this control panel's making it a little more difficult than I like, but we'll get there. Pull that up out. Let's see if this thing will come over and just pop straight up. And the carburetor comes on out. There we go. That's not too bad. We'll take this to the bench, clean it up, and see what in the world we got going on with it. Spin her around here. Set you up right there. Yeah, we're going to get a little carbon choke cleaner. I think this should be. Let's see if we can get this off of here. Oh, no, you see that? That's good and clean. Just didn't seem like it was getting enough gas through it. I think we'll go ahead and, otherwise it looks pretty good. Yeah. The jet seems to be blowing through, so that's good. I think we're going to go ahead and see if we get something coming through this way. A little bit, but my can is empty. Let me grab a fresh can of carb cleaner. Okay, I do like to, if you take these things apart, one thing you want to look at, up in here is your main jet. So you should be able to open this thing up, and when you spray, I don't know if you can see up in there or not, but oops there, a little awkward to do with one hand. Open that up and look in there, and you should be able to see a little bit. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it is spraying up through there. We're going to go ahead and make sure all these other ports, whatever's here, as clean as we can get them. And that's about all there is. We'll get the compressor and blow clean all this up. And the carburetor itself, there's not really a whole lot to them. We'll get that a little bit cleaner maybe. Alrighty. We'll put that back in there. Let me blow that one time with the old air compressor. all those forces. Make sure we get some air through this. Can't really tell if it's getting anything through that or not. Let me put a little air hose on there and blow on it. A little more controlled. We definitely want to make sure we're getting something through the carburetor. I don't know. I'm going to take that thing off, I think, and we're going to clean that a little bit more. Get these apart. I don't know if I'm catching all this. Hopefully we are. Get it apart. We'll peel that little pin out of there, and then you just pick this thing right up out of there. Take a look at your jet, or your little needle valve. That looks good. Set that right there a minute. And we're going to go ahead and blast that a little bit. There we go, and alright, that's good and cleaned out. That should be plenty good at this point. Yeah, I'm going to do one more thing. Blow it one more time. Okay. And to set it back in there, you just drop it over. Make sure that jet looks good. Take your little pin. It just slides back in. And we'll put the cover back on top of it. Okay. And one more little spray surfaces off. So they're all clean. Blow it off one more time. There we go. All cleaned up, and we'll stick her back in. Alright, let's see here. And of course it's going to go back together. It's just the opposite of the way it came apart. So the only thing I may do a little bit different is the fuel line. Let's make sure that that's still in good shape. Looks like this side is. So we're going to go ahead and put that on before I put the carburetor up in place. And I don't know if you catch any of this or not. Here, let's see if we can get you down here a little better. Like I say, strode that on, and this clamp is just about the same exact size as a hose. Man, it's making it tough to get it on and off. If it's even going to make it. Almost looks like we're cutting the hose to get it there. Examine that, make sure we didn't cut that hose so it'll leak. Yeah, I'm not real fond of this clamp at all. I might try to find me a slightly larger clamp here. Hold on a minute, let me do a little research. Okay, whoa, we're losing the camera here. Let me see if we can set this up a little bit better here with losing you. Trying to get this all in, but it's a little tough to get it around all this stuff. We've got the gas lines back up. I fooled with it a little bit, got it on there. Just a little bit of aggravating. And we'll slide this back in place. And then we take our linkage and we go full throttle, and this just simply drops down on. And then we'll take our little needle nose, and we got to find our little spring right here. And let's see if we can get hold of that and put it back in. If it'll spin the right direction. And my hand's in the way, I know. Okay, there we go. This got to be out the way. Okay, and then we'll take this one here. Should be good. We'll pick it back up. Set it back in place. We hope. Okay, that's got a Well, that's got it from the other side. There we go. There is a little washer on there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Probably not. I'll have to show it to you here in a minute. Okay, there we go. There is a little spacer on there you want to make sure of right here that falls off if you ain't careful. And it did fall off on me. I think I had everything else hooked back up sufficiently. I believe, well, I will need to do this yet. I did not hook this other gas line back totally. So let's go ahead and pull that clamp around here. These little clamps sometimes are really kind of a little tough to get around. There we go. That looks like that's got that. And we'll go ahead and stick our nuts on there. And if I ain't careful, I'm going to spill my gas. Put the other nut over on this other side. Okay, that's got the carburetor back on. We need to put one more bolt back into the bottom down here. Alright, well, I think that with that in mind, I think we're going to see if the darn thing will do anything. I don't know if that's anything else to do there. So, I think we're going to go ahead, and this thing we should be able to go to cold start. That should put the choke on. We've got gas in it. I wonder if the darn thing will actually just fire on up. Let's see if she gives us anything. I don't know if there's anything else we need to do. It seems to be running. It's generating power. It's kind of smoothing itself out at this point. I think I'm just going to let it go ahead and run for a little bit, see if it gives us any trouble. If not, we'll stick her back together, and must have been a little something in that carburetor. So I think that's about all we're going to have to do with it. Maybe that was helpful. Let me let it run a little bit and we'll get back with you. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing. We've got a saw. I'm going to try to hook that up. Let's see if that draws it. It's sitting here running for about 5 minutes. Not getting in any trouble. We'll try to put a little more load on it. All right, that's been running, like I say, about a good 5 minutes or better, no problems. Put a little bit higher amp draw on it than that other little grinder I had. The saw sucks it down, but it recovered really well for it, so I think there's no problem there. Really don't know what else to do. Like I say, it was supposed to start and then breaks, backfires and dies. I don't know, must have been just starving it for gas in that carburetor. It was definitely not getting a lot of gas in there, so there might have been a little trash in that needle valve. Anyways, that'll do it for this one. We'll go on to the next project. Appreciate it. Check out the channel and give a little like and a subscribe if you wouldn't mind. That'll help out. And we'll catch you on the next project.